Have I had an elevated life? Absolutely. I've taken my kids on 15 different cruises. I've seen about 65 different countries around the world. I've been able to do what I want, when I want. Hey folks, Joel Therien here, and what this channel is going to be about is about elevating your life in every aspect possible, but by elevating your life by giving you the education and giving you the truth, okay? So to give you my backstory, I've been doing online marketing and run businesses now, successful businesses, for about 25 years. Before that, I didn't have some successful businesses. By the way, I'm 48 years old. So I started running my own businesses actually when I was about, my first business, I was 16 years old, selling supplements. I started to work out at age 11. So by the time I was 16, I had a pretty decent physique on me, and people always asked me, Joel, what are you using? So I would sell protein powders, and creatine wasn't available back then, but pre-workout boosters were available back then, and a few other things. So that was my first business. And so I learned a lot over time. So I want to talk to you today about the benefits of running a business and the truth about running a business in general terms. And then in other videos, we'll talk more and more about. So first and foremost, is it worth it? Has my life been exceptional? I can't say for the past 25 years, because the first 2 years of running a business was difficult. I didn't make any money. So that's your first truth. Okay, if you're new to online marketing, if you're new in business, there's a lot of things on the internet that talk about one click and you're gonna get rich right away. You're gonna get filthy rich in a month. You hear about this one college student who made $22,000 in his very first month, and which can be true. If it's not true, then those people are doomed to have the FTC come down on them. But if it is true, there's a backstory to it that they don't tell you. And that backstory is, and it's true in all businesses, you have to have an audience or of a list of people to market to. So for an offline business, you got to use commercials, you got to use flyers, you got to use letterhead, you got to use business cards. For an online business, you got to use things like Instagram marketing, Facebook marketing, Twitter, all social media marketing, and you drive that marketing to a page where you generate data. So obviously, or hopefully, you offer something of free, good value for free in exchange for a name and an email address. So when you hear about that 22-year-old student who magically made $20,000 in their first month in their college dorm in a new business, that could be very true. But the backstory they don't tell you is that they've been doing list building, in other words, getting a name and an email address for at least a couple of years, okay? At least a couple of years. And so now they've got this list of, let's say, 30,000 people that have come to know who they are. Those people know, like, and trust them because they've warmed that list up. That's the difference between warm traffic and cold traffic. Cold traffic comes off things like Facebook, where they've never heard of you before. Warm traffic comes from something that you own, which is your email list. One truth about an email list is you should, if you treat your list right, and we'll do other videos on that, treat your list right, make $1 for every subscriber on your email list per month. So in other words, if you have, let's say, 100 people on your email list, you should make about $100 a month. And conversely, if you have 5,000 on your list, you should make $5,000 a month. So that's the first part, is it's going to take work, not only to build that list, but people don't instantly trust you. Just because you've captured a name and email address and you've offered them something of value for free, which is usually knowledge about what they're looking for, whatever product they're looking for, whatever service they're looking for, but those people don't automatically trust you. So they're not going to automatically, or very few, less than 1% will actually buy from you right away. And the ones that do buy is because they're desperately looking specifically for what you have. So the equivalent of somebody opting in, or you generating a lead with a name, email address, and a cell phone number, and getting those people to buy, would be the equivalent of you finding a girl or guy in a bar, depending whatever sex you are, going up to that person who you find very attractive and saying, we're getting married tonight, which is absolutely ridiculous, right? You know, like, what would be your success rate if you saw a really pretty, if you're a guy and you saw a really pretty girl in a bar and you went up to her and, you know, a bar that she knows you're not kidding, saying, we're getting married tonight? Wouldn't happen. What does it take to get a woman or a man to say yes. Well, let's talk about men, because men generally do propose to women. What's it take? Well, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes relationship building, it takes generating trust, it takes generating a relationship. And that's the same thing with an email list, is you've got to be reaching out to those people as often as you can with good information, or it's not going to work. So it's the same thing as courting that person who you want to marry. If you saw that person only once a week, and when you saw them you were really, really boring, well, they're probably not going to be very excited about you anymore, right? Same thing with your email list. If you email your list once a week, but it doesn't have anything of decent content, now that content can be a story, that content can be about you, that content can be about more information as to why they choose you for their product or service, so on and so forth. If you email only once a week, even if the content's good, it's going to take longer for those people to know, like, and trust you. So you want to email more often, especially because there's so much attention deficit disorder out there today, right? So you want to email 3 or 4 times a week. I email myself actually as much as 2 to 3 times a day. And so the content of the emails are either a story, because people connect with stories, or the content is about, information on the product or service. And sometimes the email, what we like to call Seinfeld emails, which can be about nothing. Remember, people buy products and services from people that they know, like, and trust. If I go to a car dealership and I don't like the salesman, no matter how much I love the car, I'm going to see another salesman before I buy that car. So that's the key to getting started with running a business, and you're doing your marketing for that business, whether it's a brick and mortar business, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, dentist, any type of entrepreneur. If you're an online marketer, a network marketer, it doesn't matter. It all starts with generating rapport, generating friendship, and generating a relationship with your list. So when we come back to that college student who might have been list building for the past couple of years, and he's got 10,000, 30,000 people on his list, and he sees a new opportunity and he promotes that opportunity, and because he has a list of people that already know, like, and trust him, he sends an email to that list, the trust is already there, recommending a new product or service, and boom, he makes himself $20,000 in the first month, right? So where my strength has been is over the past 25 years, I've amassed about 2.5 million people on my email list. Now, not all of those people are active. Some unsubscribe, some become raving fans, but at least 900,000 people are actively on my newsletter list. So if you look at that, just from my newsletter list alone, you can kind of guess the income that I'm making from that list on a monthly basis. So, the challenges are, it takes time to build your list. So this is truth number one. Has it been worth it? Yes. Were the first 2 years of starting, because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't even know about list building. I didn't even know about generating know, like, and trust. I didn't know anything about building a brand. It was very hard. Every night I would get frustrated and cuss and get mad and say, oh, everybody else is making money but me. And every morning I would wake up and say, no, I need to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make success of this. And that's the other thing, is staying consistent. It took me 2 years. It's not going to take you that long, because when I got started, there was only dial-up modems, right? There wasn't video, there wasn't lives, there wasn't video like I'm shooting for you right now. There was just text on a website, and rarely did people even have phone numbers or anything. So it was very, very hard to get the mentorship on how to run an effective marketing campaign online or offline. So after the first 2 years, it became well worth it. Now, that does not mean there's not ups and downs in business every single day. The difference is, if I would rate it, I would rate having a job on a scale of 1 to 10, a 1. Like, just the thought of having to answer to other people, the thought of losing my freedom, the thought of, asking when I can have time on or off, it just is not appealing to me whatsoever. So I would rate having a job as a 1. Running a business, at times it's a 10, but on average it's about an 8, because sometimes I've got to put in longer hours because of something important that needs to happen. But I will tell you this, if you look on your screen now, over the past year and a half, I've been able to work from anywhere in the world. Well, the whole time I've been able to work from anywhere in the world, but just in the past year and a half, I've been to Egypt, I've been to Spain and visited the Vatican. I spent 2 months in Mexico. I spent 2 months in Canada. I've spent countless places all over the United States that I can't even think of. And that's thanks to having a business where as long as I have a cell phone, an internet connection, and preferably a laptop, then I can work from anywhere. And that has been a 10 on 10. It's an 8 on 10 when, yeah, things happen in business. It doesn't mean business is easy. It just means business is way, way better, way better. So have I had an elevated life? Absolutely. I've taken my kids on 15 different cruises. I've seen about 65 different countries around the world. I've been able to do what I want, when I want, with the exception of sometimes something very important happening, because you still have one boss, and that boss is your customer. So sometimes something urgent happens and I was planning on going somewhere, I can't go that way. Now that might happen 2 to 3 times a year. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Understand that I'm going to elevate your life in all aspects, whether it's financial freedom, business, health, wellness, whatever the case may be, but I'm going to elevate it by telling you what's real and what's not. So if you have any questions below, just post them and I will tell you the truth about everything. Have an awesome day.